to everyone. Good evening at home. Welcome to the Jonathan Ross Show. We're back for a brand new series, and we have got a fabulous show lined up for you tonight. So let's have a look at who's in my green room. First up is a comedian turned actor turned nation's favourite ballroom dancer. It is, of course, Mr. Chris McCausland. Alongside Chris is another champion of the cha-cha. She's also a Dancing on Ice judge, a presenter, and after her stint in the jungle, she's now a big fan of a cockroach smoothie. The fabulous Oti Mabuse! So great to see you again, Oti. Plus, I'm very excited. We have an incredibly talented actor who's gone from Mad Men to Good Girls. It's the brilliant Christina Hendricks. Christina, thanks for joining us. And on the show tonight, an award-winning actor who's played everyone from Logan Roy to Hannibal Lecter, from Winston Churchill to Santa Claus. That gives you an idea of his range. It is the one and only Mr. Brian Cox. And as if that weren't enough, we've got some great music for you tonight from a band with 6 top 3 albums, with their latest one going straight in at #1. It's Snow Patrol! So that's the show. Before I get my guests out, let me just say, yesterday, of course, was Valentine's Day. And if that's news to you, you might be in trouble. Any parent, of course, will tell you that there's nothing sweeter than getting a Valentine's Day card from a child. You know, sometimes your kids, they send their parents a Valentine's card, which is lovely, although they don't always nail the sentiment. Have a look at this one. It says, "Thank you, Mum, for making me food so I don't die." But you know the sentiment is there. And even when they get the right message, of course, sometimes spelling could be a bit of an issue. Look at this one. It says, "I love my..." I love my whole family. It's on a whiteboard. They could have wiped it out. But Valentine's Day can be tough, of course, because it's a time when you're meant to focus on your partner. OK, but those of us who have pets, they know that they often want to be a part of it as well. I've got 2 lovely dogs, and they go everywhere with us, and they sleep on the bed with us, so we couldn't have Valentine's Day without them, you know. And this next guy obviously went out of his way to create a lovely evening for his partner when they came home, and look what happened.
Came home early to surprise my girl with a bubble bath for Valentine's Day.
Shall we get on with the show? Why don't we? Let's get my first guest out. It's the fabulous Chris McCausland and Oti Mabuse. Chris, come on in. Hello,
good to see you.
Oh,
Good to see you.
all of us. Come on in, come on in. Come and sit yourself down. Well,
there we go.
It is lovely to have you both on the show. You two have, I believe you've met before, haven't you?
Yes, I was unfortunate enough to run into Oti's optimism just before I did Strictly at the NTA's National Television Awards, and I was terrified of doing Strictly because I thought it was going to be a catastrophe. And she was just there. She'd had a few drinks.
Yeah, I was very drunk, so...
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be... Do you know when somebody keeps on, like, telling you that you'll be fine and you're like, you don't know the half of it?
What was the worst injury or pain you suffered during the course of Strictly?
Diane tried to do this move with me that she'd seen on TikTok. She laid on the floor with her foot against my foot, and I had to stand up. I had to hold one of it and pull her vertical body up straight. And it literally ripped me apart from my left arse cheek to my right shoulder. I felt myself undoing in the middle, and I went to see the physio. They literally gaffer taped me together. They get this medical tape. They taped my left arse cheek to my right shoulder. They reversed that the other way. They put one across the middle to hold the tape on, and they pushed me back out.
Between you, you are champions, Strictly champions, because, of course, you've won the glitter ball. And, Oti, you won it twice, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Can you say that a little bit louder?
Which is amazing and fully deserved.
Yeah.
Is it? And it's a big trophy, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
It's a little tiny one. So they give you the big trophy on the screen.
Right.
And they have it. And then once you've won and the credits come up, they go, thank you very much, and they give you the tiniest. And they go, enjoy your day. Bye.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, after 4 months of art graft, it's a little bit disappointing.
How confident were you going in there? Because you just said you weren't, but I mean, seriously, was it something that you were fearing?
Yeah, so, like, it wasn't something I could go back and look at, you know? You get asked to do any show, you can go back and listen to it and see what it's about, you know? There's no point just listening to dancing, is there? So I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know how good the good people were. I didn't know how bad the bad people were, that I just needed to be better at, to not be the worst person that's ever done it. I didn't know what the lifts were, how fast they went, what the costumes were. It was the whole thing. I mean, like, if you're not very good at Strictly, you just kind of... For anybody else, you run the risk of just being a bit goofy, maybe doing a bit of dad dancing, you know? Whereas I ran the risk of literally ending up in the audience. So, like, it could have been on live TV. There's no good edit, is there?
Did you feel like under more pressure? Because obviously, to an extent, you being you, it's like you're representing a different sort of people. You're showing people that someone can do something who they wouldn't normally expect to see on that show.
Yeah, well, I was representing blind people, but they weren't watching.
They don't care, do they? But as we said, you know, you not only did brilliantly every week, but then you won, of course. And I'd like to remind people now, this is some shots of Chris in action and the moment when he won. And it's a really beautiful moment. Such a lovely moment.
It was emotional, Jonathan. It was emotional. We did this waltz, and she said I couldn't have done it more beautifully. She said I nailed it. And as we got to the end, we were meant to link arms and just walk off the stage. And as we linked arms, she just crumpled, and then I crumpled, and the two of us were in bits. And it was a lot, you know.
It's so, I mean, it is a lovely thing. I wonder, do you miss dancing on the show, OT? Because it was such a big part of your life for a while.
It was a huge part of my life, and I'm always grateful to Strictly, because I wouldn't be sitting here without it, and we talk about it all the time. But now I enjoy it as a fan, and I choreograph on the show.
Yeah, so you work before the show starts, you help the dancers?
Yeah, I help them, not help them, we create a number, and then they invite you to come back and to choreograph. But I still dance, I still actively dance, I'm going on tour.
Yeah.
So dance will always be a part of my life, but now I'm watching Strictly with my baby girl and a glass of wine. And I'm like, woo! Look at Chris go!
Well, you watch it at home with your family, and Chris, but your family presumably were watching you from the studio most weeks, I think, weren't they?
So my wife and my daughter watched it at home. My daughter's 11. They have an age limit in the studio.
Right.
And she was so nervous on that first episode that it wouldn't work, or that I'd, you know, make a fool of myself or embarrass myself or fall over or something. And when we did that first move where we danced off down the dance floor, she burst out crying and she missed the whole thing. And she had to watch it back. And she was nervous every week, but like me, she got better at, her expectations kind of rose a little bit, and she got a little bit better at it, to the point where by the end she was just throwing things at Craig on the telly.
OT, since you were last on the show, very lovely, beautiful, exciting news. You have had a baby.
Yeah.
You've got a little girl. OT has a lovely little girl. Is she one now?
She's one now. One with all the attitude that her mom gave her, and I didn't mean to.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, is she like you? Do you see yourself in her, in her behaviour, in her kind of...
So much. She doesn't like to be told what to do. She tells us what to do. We haven't slept, really, in a year. I'm surprised that I'm here.
Oh, did you get one of them?
Oh, yeah, I got one of them. And she wakes up in the middle of the night and she just starts dancing. I'm like, no, no, please sleep. We don't want to see your leg being pointed out at 2 a.m.
When my daughter was one, honestly, the whole first year was like living in Guantanamo Bay. But with more shit on the walls.
They do that, don't they? They just wiggle when you're changing their nappy.
You try and do it with your eyes shut as well.
Is she going to follow in your footsteps? You said she wants to show you that she's pointing her foot out. Like, does she want to dance, do you think? I know it's very early, but...
Do you know, I think as a dancer, you don't really always want your child to do the same thing. I'll support whatever she does, but I mean, I'm hoping she'll be like an astronaut or like build lakes.
Well, you don't want to see her for a year.
No, no. No,
I don't want her to just move out. I want her to leave the planet.
Because your family, it's an incredible family, because obviously we know Motzi, of course.
Yeah.
From Strictly, but your other sister is, she's an engineer, is that right?
Yes, she's a mechanical engineer, and she provides, she builds wind farms which provide water for people in townships, and she designs those farms, so she provides water, which is an amazing thing. So I would love my daughter to do something that provides for communities and people to live better lives.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
family, though.
Oh,
What a
thank
family. OK, so I mentioned Motzi, of course. Motzi is a judge on Strictly. You are now a judge, and you have been for a while now, on Dancing on Ice.
I know, 4 years, can you imagine?
It's really 4 years
They've
now.
kept me for 4 years.
But Motzi is always very positive on Strictly, I've noticed.
So am I.
And, well, online people often say that you are a little harsh in your scoring when it comes to Dancing on Ice.
Yes, I think I try to be positive, and then the red light goes on, and then it just comes out of my mouth. But I'm trying to help. That's how I see it.
I can't imagine you being mean.
Yeah, I know, because you've only seen me on Prosecco. So, but when I'm not on Prosecco, I try
That's
to
what you say,
help.
on Prosecco.
Yeah, on Prosecco.
Let's just ask you, who's going to win Dancing on Ice? It's going great guns, and this is who's left in it. We've got Michaela Strachan, who's doing great.
She's brilliant.
Yeah.
Doing it for the ladies.
Anton Ferdinand's still in it, of course.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's like bringing the strength and the
But being a
athleticism.
footballer, he would have that athleticism already, wouldn't he?
Yeah, so he's thinking he needs to bring out the performance,
Then we've got Dan Edgar from Cowie.
which everybody loves.
Yeah.
I love the face.
What was that accent? I'm not quite...
Everybody loves.
OK.
Yeah, people do love the way Dan skates and looks.
Yeah.
It helps. It helps.
Yeah, I'm
Molly-
not sure what happened there. I just thought that was when the Prosecco kicked in.
No, he's nice.
Chris thought another guest had joined us without being introduced.
Everybody laughed.
We got Molly Pierce from The Traitors. She's still in.
Lovely, yes.
Yeah. Sam Aston from Cowie is there. Very popular. And Charlie Brooks from EastEnders.
Yeah.
So if you had to put money on it, who do you think's
I
going to
can't
be...
say.
Well,
I can tell you maybe my final three.
OK, tell me your final
Okay,
thought.
I'd say Michaela,
Yeah.
Dan, and the last one, I don't know. So I'm going to say Sam.
Michaela, Dan and Sam will
Yeah.
be your last three. And from those three, who will win?
Then up to the audience who will watch the final of Dancing on Ice.
I guess it is.
See what I did there?
Yeah. But they're all good. They're all great to watch.
That's the thing. I think this is the highest standard of, like, as a group that we've ever had on Dancing on Ice.
Can you ice skate yourself?
I can go from A to B.
Yeah, but you can't do the moves.
No,
So what
can't
gives you the right to judge?
Yeah, exactly. The fact that I've won Strictly Cut Dancing 2 years in a row.
Chris, I'm sitting there thinking the same thing, but thinking, I'm not going to ask that.
I mean, it's very fun. Nobody asked Craig what gives him the right to judge, you see?
If you miss it, we've got another few weeks of Dancing on Ice on ITV every Sunday, so don't miss it, and we're building up towards the final now. Chris, would that be something... Could they tempt you? Now you've conquered the ballroom, could they tempt you onto the ice?
Do you know what? I always, I said on Strictly that, you are capable of more than other people think and that you think, but I didn't really mean it. No, I mean, even I've got a line. I would literally be in a double cast within half an hour. I do not ice skate. So when at Christmas, me daughter goes ice skating and I stand at the side, and my wife goes ice skating with my daughter, and I stand at the side and I take photographs whenever I think they might be going past. and then when they come off, my wife has to delete all the photographs of other people's kids.
As you know already, and you've seen this, Chris is a very, very funny man, and he's on tour at the moment. The tour Yonks is going on, I think, until May of next year. Oh, that's the new stand-up tour, May 26th. There's no dancing, obviously.
Well, no. There's no Diane, and there is a drop right off the front of the stage. So,
But if you're going to go, die at the Palladium.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were considering the dancing, but we couldn't get the insurance.
OK, so speaking of dancing, though, Oti is back on tour with a big new dance show.
Yeah.
Viva Carnival. It's starting in June of this year. Is that right? OK, tell us about this. Is it about one specific carnival or just carnival music generally?
It's about most carnivals that are really special to me. So we'll be covering Brazil Carnival, the Argentina one, the African Carnival. We'll also be doing Glastonbury. And I think it stems from my desire to travel and see the world and the fact that with carnivals you get people from different walks of life coming together and just enjoying dance and music.
But Chris, you know what? We could go and enjoy Oti's show together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could give me the audio description there, Jonathan.
Yeah, I would do. They're dancing. They're still dancing.
Oh, wow. I used to have a mate when we were in the pub, he used to commentate on the golf for me, and his commentary was just grass, 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 sky, 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 grass, grass, grass.
I'm hoping maybe at the end of the show, would you show us a few carnival moves?
I would love to.
Chris, are you up to learning a few new dance moves?
I mean, I'll have a go, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit out of form at the minute, you know, but I'll give it my best.
Yeah. I should imagine Oti's probably a bit out of form as well.
I mean, no, I'm not. I'm fit. Have you seen my dress?
No, I know. So at the end of the show, stick around and we'll see some moves from Oti and maybe from Chris as well. Who knows? Maybe we even get Brian Cox up on the dance floor. So don't go away because up next we'll be joined by Christina Hendricks. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show. Let's get my next guest out. You will know her from the incredible series Mad Men, from the movie Drive, from Good Girls. She's also in Toy Story 4. It is the fabulous Christina Hendricks. Christina, how lovely to have you. I know, get the cha-cha going. Come and sit down. You'd love to sit down here. Yeah, if you sit near me, you've met Chris and Oti. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited you're here because I am like the biggest fan of Mad Men. Do we have any Mad Men fans in this evening? What a show. What an incredible achievement in television that was. How many years did you film that for? How many?
It was a decade.
A decade, 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Very special decade.
And I got the feeling, and please, I hope I'm right, is that it was a pleasant experience, that you all got on.
It was a dream. It was a dream. I mean, they're like our dysfunctional family, but we all, you know, keep in touch, and we've got text chains and check in on holidays and things. And
you're still in touch, of course. Did you take anything from the show with you, though? Are you the sort of person who either asks to be given or indeed just steals things from the set when they leave?
If it wasn't glued down, I took it. No. No, I mean, the special thing about that show is a lot of the stuff is in the Smithsonian. Some of the costumes travel around to different exhibits still to this day. But I've got some ashtrays, and I took a piece of art, and a few things that were in Joan's apartment are now in my home, and I look at them every day. It's special to me.
I'm such a fan of the show. I have one of the lights that used to hang in the boardroom in my house.
In what room?
In
the boardroom?
In the boardroom.
How did you get that?
I know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, apparently you know more guys than I do.
Yeah. Chris, do you take stuff from shows you worked on? Did you take anything from Strictly?
I did. I took me Strictly Come Dancing embroidered dressing gown, and I haven't had the face to wear it at home yet in case somebody knocks at the door and I forget I've got it on.
Oti, are you also a thief?
Oh, yeah. I took everything. I took wigs, lashes, dresses, shoes. I love it. And on Dancing on Ice, which is nice, the costume department actually gifted me a jacket because they were like, you're stealing too much. We're going to gift you something. And it was bedazzled and it said Dancing on Ice on it. So.
And there's a thing that I found about that I thought was, which I never knew about you, that you have dual citizenship, that you have an English passport as well as an American one, because your father was English.
Yes, my father was born in Birmingham, and my grandmother was English. So around 18 years old, I overheard someone saying, oh, I have dual nationality. And I went, excuse me, hello, what did you just say? And I called the consulate, and, you know, within a few months, all of a sudden I was had dual nationality, and it's been fabulous.
So you were born in America then? Your father had already gone to America?
Yes.
OK, and so you didn't have the joys of growing up in Birmingham. You grew up somewhere in...
I've actually never been to Birmingham.
You've never been to Birmingham?
No, I've still never been.
What are you doing after the show?
I hear it's like Paris.
No, you know what?
I'd love to see your first interaction with the accent in Birmingham.
Did your dad have a Birmingham accent?
He didn't. He left very young, so it never even occurred to my family that I could have dual nationality.
Yeah.
And I just sort of figured it out on my own.
Are you tempted to go back there, though? Are you tempted to visit where your father...
Oh, of course. I would love to go. Yeah. Any chance I would get. I hear there's a great shopping center.
There is... the Bullring is still there.
I have a friend who used to sing the Bullring Shopping Center song to me. Yeah.
But you spent quite a lot of time over here, didn't you? When you were younger, I think you were modelling here for a while.
Yeah, I moved here after high school. I had some friends who had moved over, and they said, why don't you come to London? And then I just fell in love and became such an Anglophile.
OK, so you've been over in Ireland recently.
Yes.
Filming a big new show, and I'm lucky enough to have seen it all in advance, so I can recommend it to you. It's great fun. It's really lovely, very, very funny. Maybe you could tell us about it, and you can give us away as much as you feel comfortable.
Well, there is a bit of a supernatural...
sort of science fiction-y.
Science fiction lean to it, but it's really about this small town in Ireland and bringing a Hollywood production of sort of like a bad Game of Thrones. It's called I Am Celt. And we bring I Am Celt back to Ireland, which is where my character was raised, but moved away at a very young age and sort of recreated herself. And you find out that maybe some mysterious thing happened to her in Ireland that sent her away years ago.
And it's written by the brilliant Chris O'Dowd. Did he direct some of them as well, I think?
He directed some, and he stars in, I think, half of them,
Yeah.
and wrote it. And, of course, he's hilarious. And it's special and unique because he has a really bizarre sense of humor.
Yeah,
and
it's a
really
really,
fun.
you hear his voice in it.
Yes,
You really
exactly.
do. This starts on Sky on Thursday, the 27th of February. It's called Small Town, Big Story. Have a look at this.
Will it be your first time in Ireland?
No. I've been living in America.
And now you're back to tell the story of your people to the world?
I'm sorry, is he being a cow?
Who says I know the producer lady?
She called the surgery looking for you.
What a lovely life you've built. It's all a lie, of course.
Were you friends with my dad? Kinda.
Are you gonna tell them all what happened, Shamie Proctor? You and me in the woods the night of the millennium?
There you go. Small Town, Big Story. It's on Sky and now from the 27th. And you can see from that, you can see we were sort of like dancing around it, but you can see there's a big beam of light, so there's a kind of a UFO element in it. And I'm wondering, are you someone who believes in that kind of thing?
You know, I'm open to it, but I've never had my own experience until we went to Dublin to get ready to shoot this show, and my now husband, my boyfriend at the time, was outside. We were waiting to have a mattress delivered to the house because we were going to be there for several months. We needed a comfortable bed, and it was late at night because we had just come into town, and he's like, I'll go outside and wait for this delivery. And I'm sitting inside getting the bedroom moving furniture around and waiting, and George comes in, and he's white as a ghost. And I went, what happened? He goes, you're never going to believe this. I just saw a UFO. And I know this man so well. I looked at his face, and I'm like, he saw a UFO.
Wow.
And he took a picture.
And you've shared the picture with us. OK, so before I show you the picture, Chris, are you a believer in this kind of thing?
It would be insane to think that there can't be aliens.
Thank
it's
you.
It's so big out there, isn't it? And it's like, there's got to be, hasn't there?
OT, what's your opinion?
Jonathan, I'm African. We can't handle this. We can't deal with the aliens and the witches. And the last time we had like a robot movie in South Africa, people thought it was real. And my heart is shaking right now.
Okay.
I'm like, what? You saw what in the sky?
Okay. Anyway, here's the pictures. Chris, I'll explain it to you. So it's just a kind of city of just a little cityscape, a small town, and we've circled up on the top right. There's a little bit of light in the sky. So then we pinched in on the photograph you sent us, okay? Because genuinely, I'm really excited about this. Have a look. When we pinched in, go in a bit closer if we can, okay? And then you think, hold it, what is that? Because that is weird, isn't it?
And it was the way that it moved as well.
Chris, so now we're looking at basically a flying saucer.
Right. In
No,
the same place where she's making a film where there's a flying saucer
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
I mean...
No, because look, it's got all these
What's
little...
the chances of there being a flying saucer in a place where you're making a programme about a
It looks
flying
like
saucer?
a light hamburger.
It really does look like something.
He said it moved from here to here with like no acceleration, just there, and then just disappeared.
And then they dropped the mattress off.
And then we got the mattress.
So you mentioned he was your boyfriend at the time. You're married now. You got married in New Orleans, didn't you?
Yeah.
I need to ask you this as well, because is it true that you proposed to each other?
We did. We had been talking about getting married, and we read an article that a lot of lesbians were proposing to one another, and it seemed like a really sweet and like fair, taking the pressure off one person or the other, that it shouldn't be one person's job or the other, and it just seemed kind of like a nice, and I thought, well, I want to be able to do it too, and he said, well, let's do that, but I still want to go first.
And so where did he propose, and where did you... How different were the proposals?
Well, we were actually in London. We had come to town for Vivienne Westwood's memorial. She was a friend of mine, and it was important for me to be here, so we'd flown over. The next day, we were just in our hotel with jet lag and kind of sitting there, and he said, I don't know how to do this. And I went, would you like to do it right now? And I somehow knew what he was talking about, and he was like, yeah, I would. And so he got down on his knee and proposed. And then about a week later, we were back in Los Angeles, and I didn't want it to go too long before so I got him flowers, and it was Oscar weekend, so I got him a little statue that said Best Boyfriend Award, because I was like, this is your last year to actually fall into this category, and I want you to be able to win this category. So we had a little Oscar theme to it, and I got down on a knee and proposed to him.
How lovely.
Yeah, it was sweet.
That's lovely. I'm now, of course, going to ask you, Chris, if you have a similarly beautiful proposal story to share with us.
I proposed it in Hyde Park, actually, during a Pearl Jam concert.
Nice.
Everybody was there. Pearl Jam were playing. I thought, there's no way I can hire them for a party. So, might as well make the party here while they're here already.
Yeah. OK, Oti, would you mind sharing yours? How were you proposed to?
Well, he wanted to go watch the movie Planet of the Apes. Very romantic. And I was like, this is not it. And he was really nervous. And I was like, why is he nervous? Then he took me to Hard Rock Cafe, and they were playing, like, metal rock. And I was like, this is not my vibe.
But it's better than Monkeys.
Yeah. And then we just went back to the hotel, and it was on his birthday. And so we celebrated his birthday, and we said happy birthday. And then I was about to go to bed, and he's like, wait, before the day ends, will you marry me? Aww. And then he gave me the ring.
That's sweet.
Minus the monkeys, it was very nice.
Oh, so he did make you go and see Planet of the Apes?
Because I used to like it back in the day, like when I was in South Africa. And then they made more and more, and I grew up, and I was living in Germany. I was like, no, thank you. I love it, but no, thank you.
OK, well, let's find out whether Brian Cox has a similar story, because we're going to be joined by him in just a moment, so don't go away. Mr. Brian Cox will be joining us after the break. Welcome back to the show. Let's get my next guest out. A brilliant actor and the only man who can make swearing sound like pure poetry, Mr. Brian Cox. How fabulous to have you here. Thank you. Brian, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
It's lovely to see you again.
It's lovely to see you, Jonathan.
Well, look,
you're
since
looking well, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Particularly on the screen.
Am I looking good on the screen? Not so good in
No,
real
you
life?
look good on the screen. I don't know about you in life, but on the screen you look really good.
I bought a rowing machine.
Your private life is your own affair. It's got nothing to do with you.
Well, no, because after Christmas I'm trying to get rid of this. I bought a rowing machine.
No, don't get rid of it. Celebrate it.
Why?
Pardon?
But you're trim.
I know, because Ozempic. No, true.
You're on the Ozempic?
I'm a diabetic.
Oh.
And it's for... Ozempic is for diabetics. It is not for fat people.
Yeah.
No, it's for...
So, Brian, then why did you suggest I take it? Because I am not a diabetic.
Oh, I thought you were, Jonathan. I'm so sorry. No,
OK, since last you were on the show, Succession... When last time you were on the show, Succession, the final season hadn't aired.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen the finish. We didn't know what happened. We didn't know that Logan Roy, who you played so brilliantly, was going to die in that series.
Well, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no. Spoiler. Spoiler, if you haven't seen it. Well, no, because...
But,
I can't...
I mean,
Wait, what?
no, because I forgot...
No.
Because I've seen it so many times. I watched that series like 3
but,
times.
I mean, it's called Succession.
Oh, yes.
So what do you expect? Somebody has to die in order to succeed.
Well, but they were going to kill him off in the first season, weren't they?
Oh, that was a rumour.
OK.
Yeah, it was a rumour that was given to me by my manager, which was nonsense.
But how did you keep that a secret? Because everyone was keen to know what was going on. And filming those seasons, it must have been really, I would have thought, hard for you.
Well, the interesting thing is that there was the funeral, and there was all these paparazzi outside the church, this amazing church where they did the funeral. And they said to me, well, actually, it was me. It was my suggestion. I said, you know, I should be at the funeral. And they said, why? It's your funeral. I said, because I know that the paparazzi, they're going to want to know whose funeral it is. And if I appear, they won't, you know, they'll say, oh, it's somebody else's funeral. So what happened was we were driving to the church, and they came on the line and said, we don't need you, Brian. And I said, no, you do. And I went up, and as soon as I walked out of the car, there were hundreds of paparazzi there taking photographs. So I managed to get away from the fact that we didn't know it was...
Well, yeah, there were headlines in the papers. Look, there you go. Succession's Brian Cox, Jeremy Strong and Nicholas Bourne look sombre as they film funeral scenes in New York, but who has died? So if you hadn't been there, of course, that would have given the game away.
Exactly.
Wow. At the moment, it's nearly Oscars, of course, in LA. A ceremony we all watch all over the world and we enjoy watching. And 2 of your sons, your screen sons, Kieran Culkin and Jeremy Strong, who played your kids in Succession, they're both up against each other in the Oscars.
Yes.
OK. Wow. So this is the time to ask you, who's your favourite child?
Well, the problem is, I won't watch anything that's to do with Donald Trump.
Right.
And Donald Trump is in The Apprentice, which is what Jeremy's in, playing, well, what's he called? I've forgotten the name.
The lawyer guy.
The lawyer guy, yeah, the nasty lawyer guy. And I have seen Kieran's film, and it's wonderful, and he's wonderful. And I'm sure Jeremy is wonderful, because they're both... So I can't really judge, because I will not watch anything that's to do with that man.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about Trump, that man.
Yeah. As an actor, do you like the Oscars? Do you like the idea of the Oscars? Because I've always wondered whether, from an actor's point of view, because I know, obviously, you're there, you're celebrating your fellow actors' work as well, but at the same time, you're kind of pitted against each other, whether you like it or not, and whether that feels uncomfortable. Does that ever come up? Hold it, let's give Oti a glass of water.
I'm so sorry. No. I'm like...
Hold it. I've got a clean bottle down here that hasn't been opened yet. You have that.
Sorry, guys.
No? Remind me not to take you to see Planet of the Apes if you're going to cough.
Which Planet of the Apes was it you saw?
Oh, God, were you in one of them?
I was in the one, I was in the revival.
Of course, you were the nasty guy.
I was a nasty guy.
You often play nasty guys.
Occasionally,
yeah.
Were you the villain monkey?
No.
Oh, no,
I can't remember. I was the guy who owned the...
the monkey factory.
Yeah, I owned the thing, the creature.
Well, you were brilliant in it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's high praise indeed.
Now you have to call her on her anniversary.
OK, so, Brian, I hope you don't mind me saying this.
No.
You have been acting now, professionally, for 63 years.
63 years.
63 years. What an achievement. Incredible. One of the finest actors whose work I've ever enjoyed seeing. But I'm curious, before you started acting or during that period, did you ever have other jobs in the real world, like jobs that were not related to either acting or show business in any way?
I did work in a gym, and I used to book people's bikini waxes.
Oh.
What kind of gym is this?
Well, it's a gym that does bikini wax.
Oh, God, I'm not familiar with that
one. You do workouts, and then there were always these Swedish women who came and said, have you ever been to one of my parties? That's all they always start. Have you ever been to one of my parties? And I said, no, I don't think so, ma'am. I said, so what? I would like a bikini wax. And I would do the thing and send them off.
Hold it, you would do the wax?
No, I wouldn't do the wax. No, I'm not a professional. A professional waxer did the wax.
You do it as an amateur, then?
Yeah, I did it as... No, I didn't do it at all.
As a hobby?
Jonathan, please don't draw me on this. I tried to avoid doing bikini waxes. I wish I'd never brought the fucking subject
Okay,
up.
so... I'm sorry, I got excited. What about you, Chris? You obviously haven't worked in that sort of line, but have you what other jobs have you had before the comedian lifestyle took hold?
Nobody's letting me loose on the nether regions. My degree's in software engineering, so like I trained to be a website designer, and obviously my eyesight got worse and worse, and if I'm honest, the websites got uglier and uglier. And I was unemployed for ages, and I couldn't get a job, so I thought I'll volunteer for a charity. And I ended up volunteering for a charity that helped blind people find work, and I couldn't find any work. So I wasn't very good.
Christina, what about you? We know you modelled a bit in the past, but between the modelling and the acting, did you have other jobs?
Well, my first job, and it was sort of my main job during high school, is I worked at a hair salon. I was a shampoo girl, and then I was a receptionist.
And did you enjoy it? Were you good at it?
I loved it. I loved it. I used to make playlists for the salon and sort of set the tone, and I was a little goth girl, and all the hairstylists were very sweet and sort of took me under their wing.
You were the goth?
I was the goth.
Wow.
Wow.
So it was a great place for me to get my hair
Well, you know
colored,
what?
all sorts of weird colors.
We've got a picture of Christina in her goth days.
Oh.
Let's have a look. I think this is from that goth period.
Oh,
look.
yeah, gothing out there.
There.
Mild goth in this picture.
But you're not someone, I would think, because you have a kind of like, now you have a kind of Hollywood glamour about you, I would think, so when you see goths in the street, do you feel a kinship?
I am still goth inside, you know.
I can tell.
You can tell, you know, yeah.
I thought there was something strange
No,
about you.
I'll see goths walking down the street, and I'm like, what's up? What's up? And I think that they're going to be like, oh, she must be goth, but instead they just look at me like, why is that old lady looking at me? You know, and I'm like you, man. Like, it's cool. And they're like,
Goth forever.
Yeah, goth forever.
I know you were dancing professionally since you were very young, so I don't know,
Yes.
did you have jobs outside of dancing, or was it always a career?
I did. I was a waitress at Wimpy. Remember those? They're still big in South Africa.
Yeah. Oh,
Huge.
surely.
I mean, how old do I look?
Well, you're certainly... Wimpy was 200 years
But no,
ago.
Brian, there were still Wimpies.
Really?
Yeah.
There were still Wimpies.
There's
Really?
one in
I
Elstree.
occasionally go out and have the Bender
I feel
brunch.
like I've still seen
Really?
that. Yeah.
Where?
There's one in Swanage.
Yeah.
Swanage?
Yes, it's a bit of a journey, but it's worth it for a Wimpy. So, Brian, before we talk about your new play, which I'm genuinely, as you know, very excited about, I need to ask you earlier when we were talking about proposals and how people propose to each other. You are a married man.
I am.
Could you tell us about the proposal that took place between you and your partner? Who
Yes.
did what?
We were on the point of splitting up. Oh. Which is a very good basis for a proposal. Because what do? And my wife, my then girlfriend, she had been to India. So anyway, we sat down and we were talking, and she's wonderful, my wife. She's a fantastic person. So we made a decision that we either split, and then I thought, well, the other alternative was to get married. And she thought about it for about 25 seconds, and she said, I think that's a good idea.
Hold it, that's the least romantic story I've heard in my entire life.
Well, I think, well, we've been married 26 years as the result, so it's not
So
too
that's a
bad.
lovely ending to it.
So anyway, we flew to Las Vegas, and she wanted to be married by... now, she's probably going to be angry with me. She's out here now, so she's probably going... But I think she wanted to be married by an Elvis impersonator. And I drew the line at an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah. I mean, were you not an Elvis fan? You never liked
No,
Elvis?
I loved Elvis.
Okay.
But I didn't want to see him there with a book going, you know...
But what if you'd have done it like... Do you want to go? Oh, have you got a whole lot of love?
I couldn't bear that. So,
If you take her, say, uh-huh.
So I got married in the Little White Chapel.
Oh!
Which was lovely. And it was a lady, and her mother played the piano. And she didn't know that I was... she heard that I was Scottish, but she didn't know I'd been in Braveheart. So she played... Unknown, she played the theme from Braveheart as we walked down the aisle, which was slightly embarrassing, I have to say. But then we got married, and that was lovely. And we've been together now 26 years.
Well, congratulations. That is a lovely end to an Elvis-bashing story. And this is Nicole.
Nicole, yes.
And
She's there somewhere.
So Nicole's in somewhere, and you can see Nicole because Nicole's an actor as well. You're working together in this new play.
Yes, she plays my wife, ironically, in this new play.
It's called The Score, and it sounds absolutely intriguing. Please tell us about it.
It's a play about Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, and it starts with him and his wife discussing the fact he's going to be going to Potsdam, which is where the king, Frederick the Great, lived. So Bach goes to the court, and then this whole kind of rigmarole happens with Frederick the Great. And Frederick the Great had a theme that he asked Bach to improvise a three-part fugue. And Bach kind of observes this, and he plays his theme, and through understanding the music of what Frederick has created, he realizes there's something deep about Frederick's pain, you know, and that's what the play really is about. He was an extraordinary man, Bach, because it was just all about the work. It was about nothing else but the work and the fact that he had 24 children.
Yeah.
So he was busy at night.
Yeah. OK, so I'm very much looking forward to this. It's going to be amazing. Is there a lot of music in it as well? It's mainly dialogue, I imagine, but do you hear a lot of Bach's music?
I've got to do a lot of playing on the old...
Can you play?
No.
Oh.
It's pretend.
I know, but you could have learned.
Well, I've got to learn the lines. That's hard enough. Yeah. Never mind the playing.
What's he playing?
No, I do play. But I don't play properly, but I do finger. I know what to do. No. That sounded really good. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that at all. That's embarrassing.
This guy.
Are we back to the proposal?
You can take the man out of the Brazilian gym, but you can't take the Brazilian gym out of the man. It's been a pleasure seeing you again. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's lovely seeing you, Jonathan.
So let me just recap. You can see the fabulous Brian Cox on stage at the Theatre Royal in Haymarket starting Thursday, the 20th of February. Christina's incredible new show starts on Sky and now on the 27th. We've got Otis' tour to look forward in June. Chris is on tour. Howdy, what were you going to say? Someone shouted in my ear then. I've got another part to go. I thought we'd finished the show. I'm so sorry. I thought that was the end of the show. I got so caught up in it. I know, but I don't look at your cue. OK, so we'll do that again. OK.
Snow Patrol.
Yeah, I know. Never mind. Don't start doing that.
Don't go anywhere, because Snow Patrol will be performing right here in the studio, and Oti has promised to teach us all some carnival moves. See you after the break.
That's right. Welcome back to the show. I'm still here with all my fabulous guests, and we've still got Snow Patrol to come as well. I want to ask you a question, Brian, because obviously you've worked with so many actors, so many of the greats. Laurence Olivier you worked with.
Yeah.
Sir Laurence Olivier.
Yeah.
Considered by many to be the finest actor of his generation.
Yeah.
Would you share that? Did you share that?
Oh,
opinion?
certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw Olivier on stage, I mean, he was astonishing.
Yeah.
He was absolutely astonishing.
I never did, but every film he was in, I thought he was incredible. But the first time you were meant to meet him, he'd asked you to come see him, and the meeting didn't happen. Is that correct?
Well, what happened was I was working at the Lyceum Theatre in Edinburgh, and I had this appointment with him. I was supposed to fly down to London to see him, and I got this Scots the stage doorman called Jimmy. He said, "Oh, Brian," he said, "we found this wee note. It fell down the back of your cubbyhole." And I said, "Oh, OK." And it was a note from his people, Olivier's people, saying he couldn't see me. He wasn't going to see me because he had other things he had to do. So he had cancelled the interview. So I thought, oh, Christ, because I was all packed. It was those days when you could get late-night flights from Edinburgh. It shows you how long ago it was. And it was something like £1.50 to fly to London. It was amazing. And I thought, I can't be bothered. I won't go to London. I'll just forget it. So I went home. And the following morning, I got up, and there was a paper, you know, the Sunday Post? It's a Scottish paper.
Yeah, I know.
And there was a Sunday Post line there, and in those days, they used to have a thing, I don't know if they do it anymore, called Stop Press, which was a thing at the back in red that told you, and it just said in the back, it just said, Edinburgh flight from Turnhouse crashes at Heathrow, killing everybody aboard.
Wow.
And that's the flight I would have been on.
Oh, wow.
So in a way, he saved my life, you know. So I was kind of sort of bowled over by it. That was it.
We've been talking quite a lot about dance on the show this evening, for obvious reasons. Oti.
Hello, Jonathan.
I'd love to see you dance. We'd love to see you do a bit of dancing. Wouldn't we love to see Oti do a bit of dancing before we talk about it? OK.
After the ride, I'll be amazing.
And bearing in mind we're about to see the big live show will be carnival themed.
Yes.
Do you want to show us a couple of carnival moves,
I
maybe?
would love to. Can we all do it together?
Well, I don't know who's up for it. I know, Chris, have you still got the moves?
I'll have a go. Yeah.
Brian, you're going to come up?
No, my jock strap's too tight.
Okay.
We're going to watch.
So, Chris, if you will, might shout us a few moves. And let's give Chris a round of applause because
Come on,
you're not going to see him dance much more than this. I will happily go over as well.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, 2 steps together. Okay. Oh, and Jonathan.
What are we going to do?
So you're going to step back with your right leg.
What are we doing first? What's this called?
This is called a batucada.
A batucada.
Batucada. Yeah,
batucada.
batucada.
Okay,
Originally from Brazil. Yeah. We're going to step back with the right leg.
Yep.
That's it. Now
And
bend
then-
your
and then-
left. That's it. That's
Yep.
it. And then you're going to move your hip towards the left. So you're going to move it. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Then you're going to step back again with the left.
Yeah.
Then you're going to move your hips towards the right.
Oh, this is
And
complicated.
you're
There
going to
you
do
go.
it again.
Bloody
Right
hell.
leg back, hips, left leg back, hips.
Are we anywhere near the
That's it.
stairs?
No, nowhere near the stairs.
Okay.
Then we're gonna start again. Nowhere near the stairs. Okay.
Okay.
So you gotta imagine yourself at a festival, big
Yeah.
feathers,
Okay.
music going.
Hold it. Which
no-
way? Was it right first or left first?
Right first.
Come on, Jonathan.
Right? You ready? Just fast. We're gonna go 7 steps.
Let's just music.
Step, hip, step, hip, step, hip, step, hip, step, hip,
Keep going.
step. Keep going, keep going.
You keep on going that way.
Yes.
Right.
And we're gonna do it faster, faster.
Faster?
6, 7, let's
Go on.
go. Step, hip, step, hip, step, hip.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
People are like, how the fuck did he win?
Okay.
I should have retired in December.
Let's go and sit down. Let's go. Let's hear it again
Let's
for
go.
Chris and OT.
I could watch you all day. I could watch you all day. You're so beautiful. And you too.
Okay, well, that is about all we have time for this evening. So I'm going to ask you to say thank you to all my guests for a splendid evening. Thank you for being here. And I hope that you can join me again next week when my guest will be Gordon Ramsay. We have Olympic gold medalist Keely Hodgson. Danny Dye will be here. The fabulous Vanessa Williams. The brilliant star of Baby Girl, Harris Dickinson, will be joining me. And Joan Armour-Trading will be performing.
Oh, wow.
But now, from their upcoming extended edition of their #1 album, The Forest is the Path, this is But I'll Keep Trying, Snow Patrol.
I guess he's probably just falling apart. Thing is, it looked exactly like falling in love. Then she said, stop getting so damn caught up about everything. 'Cause this life is too long to live that way. And the only thing that matters is you and me today. And I won't let you go, 'cause I know that you love me through everything. But I don't know this love, 'cause it won't make no sense to me still. And I won't let you go till I understand that maybe I'll never know what it takes to be your man. But I'll keep trying. Oh, the song of you sings in me still.